despite all of this evidence, the defense who's defending Bryan believe that they could poke holes, because remember, they don't have to prove his innocence. They only have to create doubt.
That's true.
So Steve and Christy Goncalves maintain open minds that maybe it wasn't even him.
Oh.
So they're just keeping an open mind.
Yeah, well, just so that they also don't get disappointed, right? Because if you're gung-ho on this person did it, this person killed my child, and then just, I don't know, the jurors find there's not enough credible evidence and enough credibility to be like, yeah, it was him, and they don't like persecute him, and he doesn't get jail time and stuff, then that goes everything you kind of like worked for. You get
Exactly.
what I mean?
And Howard Bloom and Brianna Fox pointed out that the defense may attempt to poke holes in the prosecutor's case by using the same evidence that we're using against him to prosecute him. They can use that same evidence to poke holes in the case. For example, they can say, even though Kohberger's phone pings place him in the area, it doesn't necessarily place him. It's circumstantial because it doesn't necessarily place him inside of their house. So the same way you can say, hey, cell phone pings say you were in the area. It doesn't mean did it ping me at their house? Because it doesn't. It's location. True. It just says that I was in the location, but it doesn't say that I was in their house.
That's true.
Also, there's notable absence of any of Kohberger's DNA or any of their DNA on his person. And which is something that's unusual given how gruesome the crime is and how personal stabbing somebody to death is. The fact that he did that to 4 individuals in this gruesome manner with that particular knife. And blood was splattering everywhere to the point where blood was even oozing on the outside of the exterior walls. It's pretty unusual to not even have any of his DNA end up on them, or then their DNA end up on him.
But then again, you got to remember, he was like a criminal student, and not just like a regular criminal student. This man is like PhD, like I'm serious, like this is everything PhD type of timing about crime. So of course he would know how to clean up a crime scene.
And that's exactly what Christy and Steve Goncalves, I keep butchering their name. I'm just going to say Christy and Steve. That's exactly what Christy and Steve believe Kohberger may have done. Yeah. They believe that he showed up, he assembled what's called a kill kit, a set of tools specifically designed to carry out the murders. I agree with that, because if he came there with a military style knife, that's to ensure that the person dies with that.
Right.
Now, on top of that, he studies criminology, PhD level of studying, might I add.
Right.
And also his phone was in the area 12 times and 1 time the morning after the murder, meaning he's cased out the house. Probably he's seen when they're going and coming. It's already estimated. It's already been predicted that he's been in the house 1 time before. So why would he not go through the extensive steps to clean up or make sure he has the proper tools to make sure he can get away?
Yeah, because he knows how serious and how like easy it is to gather evidence against someone based on like the things they did before they killed. So he kind of knows, okay, well, this is what I need to do to prevent myself. But not just that. Yeah, of course, I do agree with the fact that he might have went into the house before. Because think about it. How else is he going to know where to go?
To go to Maddie's room.
Right. If not, it would have been like...
And Maddie's room is on the 3rd floor.
Right.
That's not even the first room. So like if you were doing a random murder, you wouldn't go all the way up to the top floor. Right. You would go... Exactly. And he went to the one person's room in which... out of any connection that he has, it was the one person that lived there that he was liking all their photos.
Exactly.
So the next thing, though, is that also the defense also filed claims that there's other unidentified male DNA that was found at the scene. 2 samples inside the house and 1 on a glove found outside. Now, because remember, there's a gag order on this case.
Yeah.
So we're not going to know until the case gets started who that DNA belongs to, if they've even found the people who the DNA belongs to. But, obviously the victims of the crime and the people who suspect that it's Bryan that did this crime are hoping that the DNA that they found on the glove also matches him in some way. Because then they'll be able to say, well, the description also said he had on gloves and that is found there. So, but as of right now, that's it's unidentified male DNA.
Yeah.
There's also been other alternative theories, such as possible drug depths. And,
as if like they owed money to some drug dealer, like, or like they just kept buying drugs and then never paid them back, and he just
like
came
one
to
of those
collect the
theories.
debt. But then that's stupid as fuck, because why would you send a criminal PhD student to collect your debt?
No. So the theory is also that it's not even Bryan, that it's somebody that came to collect drug debts. Because, a lot of people can't even fathom the fact that 4 college students that are doing what they're supposed to do, have never on paper been bothering anybody, would just get brutally murdered in their home like that on a random Sunday morning.
That's very true.
But
that doesn't make sense.
The Christy and Steve believe that that's just some Hollywood BS, and it's not even taken seriously by a lot of people. But, people, when they can't explain things, will come up with solutions that they feel like can fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Prosecutors are also seeking to use a college paper that Bryan Kohberger wrote on crime scenes. They're planning to use that as evidence in this case.